Dutch legends say that the symbol of Amsterdam, the triple X's, represents the three ancient dangers to the city: fire, disease, and flooding. Today, 2/3 of the Netherlands' population and about 70% of their economic output lies below sea level. Unlike fire and the plague, the danger of flooding is still a very real concern. Fortunately, the Dutch have centuries of experience manipulating and controlling water. Their cities are built around complex systems of dikes, dams, canals, and barriers to keep water from inundating the country. Despite this experience, the Netherlands has not always been impervious to flooding.
Last time was in 1953. This was when the Waterschap, the water disaster, took place, and 1,836 people died during this disaster. So this was really a big disaster for our country. After this disaster, they designed a plan which was called the Delta Plan. And in this plan it was stated how the Netherlands would be protected against high water rise. And one of the things they started building after this plan was the Maasvlakte storm surge barrier, but there are multiple other barriers built as well due to this plan.
The gate has two arms resting on either side of the canal. Each arm is as tall and twice as heavy as the Eiffel Tower. When the arms are open, the waterway is accessible for shipping routes, and when they close, they serve as a protective storm barrier for the city of Rotterdam. The opening and closing of the arms is an automated process controlled by computers that monitor the sea level. These structures are crucial aspects of controlling flooding and have kept the Netherlands safe since 1953. However, dikes and other massive barriers against the sea will not be the answer forever. With temperatures increasing due to high concentrations of heat-trapping gases in the atmosphere, sea levels are on the rise. This is a result of thermal expansion, melting glaciers, and polar ice caps, as well as ice loss from Greenland and West Antarctica. Over the past 20 years, the annual rate of sea level rise has increased by 0.13 inches. While this may seem minor, this rate is twice the average speed of the preceding 80 years and is only getting faster. For a country with the majority of its people living under sea level, this is no trivial problem. If sea level rises just 1 meter, entire cities could be destroyed.
Sea level in the North Sea will rise 60 centimeters every 100 years. But that was not the only problem here. We also have a problem with the soil, because the soil mostly consists of peat and clay, and these materials settle really fast. So every 100 years we have the sea level rise of 60 centimeters, but also a soil settlement of 30 centimeters. So in total this gives a net vertical displacement of 90 centimeters. It's quite problematic, and that's also the reason why areas like these have a design age of only 100 years.
To combat this issue, the Dutch are rethinking their strategies. Harold van Weveren, a senior government advisor, described, "We can't just keep building higher levees because we will end up living behind 10-meter walls. We need to give the rivers more places to flow. Protection against climate change is only as strong as the weakest link in the chain." The Dutch have decided that instead of continuing to fight the water and subdue Mother Nature, that instead they are going to let the water in wherever possible. This thought process is referred to as room for the river.
It's more like an approach or a way of thinking or a way of prioritizing values, where you move away from just building higher defenses, for example, to where you say we actually just have to give more room to the water. And that's like fundamentally a very different, it's almost like going from more like a civil engineering to more like an ecology kind of approach. If you just try to keep the water out, you won't succeed. But if you let the water in and you try to direct where the water goes, then you're more likely to succeed. It is actually quite a different way of thinking, because it is kind of moving away from these large mega civil engineering projects to saying like we just need more green spaces, for example.
The Room for the River approach has received a lot of positive reactions from the stakeholders associated and the public. Under this approach, the Netherlands has taken on a variety of projects to allow more room for water to flow. One such project is dike relocation, where dikes are pushed back to create additional space for the water during floods. Another method is lowering perpendicular groins, which allows water to flow continuously and clears out sediment. A third technique is removing obstacles. This also helps increase the flow rate of the water and discourages flooding.
They also got floodplains, and they use them to put the water in when the water gets too high on the river. So these are really designed where no people are living to flood during these scenarios.
The Dutch have had to adapt to flooding for centuries, and as a result, they have risen as leaders in the fight against the rising seas. This fight is only getting more challenging as the severity of storms increases. For instance, in September of 2017, Hurricane Harvey hit Houston, Texas, and displaced approximately 30,000 people. Much of the damage was a result of unexpected flooding due to the sprawling nature of the city. Houston is not designed to accommodate excess amounts of water. Had Houston adopted Dutch planning principles such as Room for the River, this storm wouldn't have been as devastating. As the seas continue to rise and the frequency of severe storms increases, many other cities across the globe are looking to the Netherlands for guidance. While Room for the River may not be the final solution for these threatened cities, it provides hope in a dismal future.